You want me to say my whole name, Oliverio
I'll
Guevara,
yeah,
right?
it's
Okay.
okay. You can if you want. I'll do that. So, thank you so much for participating in this interview. Who are you,
Okay, my name is Oliverio Guevara.
and when did you come to this country?
I came to this country when I was in seventh grade.
Okay. Who else did you come here with?
I came up with my parents and three brothers and a sister.
Were you the oldest or the
No, I
youngest?
was the middle one
Okay.
in the family at the time.
And why did your parents decide to migrate to the United States?
To have a better life for us.
Um, what was life like in your native homeland?
Life in my native homeland was fun. I did enjoy my childhood over there. It's totally different to the childhood over here in the United States. I mean, I did enjoy it.
First, can you say what your native homeland was?
My native homeland is Mexico.
Okay. And what were some ways that you feel like it was real different there versus here when you came?
Well, the thing is that I didn't need any computers, any radios, anything like that. I could just even go to my backyard and play with on top of the trees, thinking that I was in the jungle or something like that. Which I see these kids over here in the States, they don't do that anymore. They don't have an imagination like I had it when I was growing up.
Yeah, yeah, that is a big difference. And were you in a rural community or urban or what
I
was
was
it?
in a rural community.
Rural community. Okay. And then you came to
To Chicago.
so that's a
It
big
was a
difference.
big difference, yes.
Wow. What was your journey like to the United States?
It was fun. We took the bus.
Mm-hmm.
It it took us a few days to get to Chicago, but it was fun.
Yeah. Were
Yeah.
you sad to leave, or were you scared to come here, or how did you
You know
feel?
what? I was kind of happy.
Yeah.
I wanted to find out how life was in the United States.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, so
Sure.
it was kind of happy.
And what made your parents decide Chicago?
I have no idea.
No idea.
I
Yeah.
have no
Okay.
idea. They just like, oh, we're going to Chicago. It's like, okay, let's go.
Let's go. There we go. Cool. Um, and when you got here, did you face culture shock as a seventh grader?
Not really, because when we came to Chicago, we lived in a community where there were mostly Latinos,
Okay.
Mexicans, so
Okay.
it was like living in my country.
Sure. Sure. You.
They
Okay.
spoke Spanish everywhere, so it was like
Okay.
there was no difference. For me.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Um, did you have to learn the English language? Well, you did, but so.
Yeah,
How
I
did
know.
that go?
While I was in school, I was in bilingual classes, so
Okay.
I learned a little bit in during my schooling years.
Okay. Do you remember that being hard or easy, frustrating?
It was hard. Well, I still have trouble with the English
Sure.
language because it is kind of hard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, what was it like transitioning to American culture?
Well, I really don't know what they mean by the American culture, but it's like I still have my culture, my Mexican
Mm-hmm.
culture, so it's like I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think the American culture is difference between their communities. It could be
Okay.
Anglos, it could be African
Sure.
Americans. Everything
Sure.
is different. So
Okay. Okay.
I'll say my culture is Mexican. So
Okay. Okay. Um, do you identify yourself as a hyphenated American? Like, if someone says, it's an annoying question, right? But if someone says, "What are you?" Do you say, how would you respond? How do you identify yourself?
first of all, I define myself as a Mexican or as a Latino.
Okay.
Yeah, but Hispanic, I don't like the
Oh, okay. Can you
the
explain why not?
I don't know, but Hispanic is just I don't know. I find it offensive.
Okay. Okay. But Latino, no.
No,
Okay.
either I'm a Latino or a Mexican.
Okay. Okay, is there a reason why Hispanic offensive or something that happened or I don't know, someone said it?
It's just the way I feel.
Okay. Cool. Would you ever say Mexican American or mostly Mexican Latino?
Well, if you are born over here, I think, well, my daughter,
Sure.
one example, my daughter was born here in Chicago, so uh, I always tell her that she's Mexican American.
Okay.
Uh, she can say either she's American or she's Mexican, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
She has
totally
a
agree
choice.
with that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Um, how has your family adapted? So even though you grew up when you came here living in mostly Mexican American or Latino neighborhoods, still there was probably some, oh, things are a little bit different here, or there are more people who are different from us, or just lifestyle or beliefs, attitudes. How did your family, maybe your parents, older siblings, how did they adapt to bringing that identity as Mexicans from Mexico to a new country and kind of fit in and try to have progress here?
I think it was an easy adaptation because
Okay.
my family is a very easygoing.
Okay.
My parents, my brothers, and everybody. So it's like they had no problem with that.
Okay.
They will be, they will have friends of different cultures, and then I mean, it was an easy thing.
Um, so you say it's easy. Yes. How do you think you've changed as a person? It's probably hard to think back to your seventh grade self, but how has being an immigrant changed you as a person in a way that you probably, in a way that you're different had you stayed in Mexico? Has the immigrant experience changed you at all as a person?
Yes, I think it did. So be here, I learned a lot about uh, racism.
Okay.
Uh, sometimes, I was treated because of my accent.
Mm-hmm.
I was treated like it was something like very offensive to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm gonna tell you this.
Yeah.
During a city, during I went to city colleges in Chicago, and one of my classes, the professor, we were introducing ourselves to the class. When I finished introducing myself, the professor came up to me and he's like, "So what nationality are you?" I'm like, "I'm Mexican. Why?" And he told me, "Oh, you have a big accent. I don't think you're gonna make it in my class." So, I felt very kind of angry,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like, what else can I do? So I end up dropping the class.
Yeah.
And you know what? That stood with me until today.
Yeah.
I still feel like I'm afraid to speak in front of people because of that.
How old were you when that
I
happened?
was like, what, 20?
Wow. Yeah. If someone said that to you now, do you think you'd still drop the class?
No,
No.
no.
Yeah.
I will now. I will defend myself.
Sure.
Probably I will question that person.
Okay.
Like, what do you think that way, or
Mhm.
whatever. But I think I will now. I will stand on my ground and will
Yeah.
ask for an explanation of
Sure.
why he thinks that way.
Sure. Sure.
And before it was like, I mean, I was like, oh, I felt bad, so it's like, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
But now it's like, no,
Yeah.
it made me stronger.
Yeah.
As time went by, it made me stronger. So now
Yeah.
it's like, if you say something to me like, see, if you say something to me like that, I'm gonna respond to you.
Sure.
You know?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that story. So what would you keep and what would you lose about your previous culture and homeland, right? All of our cultures, we've got good things and we've got not so good things, right? What's some things that you've really kept and strongly identify with as positives about being Mexican?
Well, I think being respectful towards other people, towards
Mm-hmm.
other cultures, to elders, and that's what I'm teaching my daughters to be. Also, to grow up with the same respect,
Mm-hmm.
because I think nowadays uh, there's no respect at all for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of the things that I will always keep,
Sure.
the respect.
Okay. Yeah. What's something is there anything else that you'd like to keep, or probably a
Well,
lot of things, but that's a big.
yeah, that's the main
Sure.
thing. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. I think that's interesting because so often we think about culture and we can think about it superficially, like, oh, the food
Yeah,
and the clothes and the
yeah.
music.
I mean,
But really, I like how you said that because that's deeper than. Do you know what I?
yeah.
That's really something that does make up that is found in Latin cultures that is not found as much in mainstream modern American culture that
Yeah.
that we have lost, and so that's cool. So that. What about something that you would lose? Something that you see and you're like, okay, I don't like this. I want to end this. I don't. This is something I don't appreciate from my culture.
You know what? Probably the music, the corridos that are coming up
Okay.
right now with I mean, the narcs and everything.
Sure, sure,
That they
sure.
like think the narcs are like gods or
Sure,
something.
sure.
I think I will give that up.
Yeah. So like glorification
Exactly.
of
Yeah.
gangster
Of
culture
gangster and all
and
the
all
stuff.
that
I
stuff.
will
Okay. Yeah.
give it up.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Um, what is life really like in the United States? Like if there was a seventh grade boy somewhere in rural Mexico right now who's getting ready to get on the train to come or the bus to come with his family, what would you tell him to help prepare him for life in the U.S. as an immigrant?
Uh,
Like, yeah. I know you see in the movies, but this is what it's really like, and this is what how you
well,
can
I
be
will.
prepared.
I will let him know that not to change uh, his culture, his respect towards other people, because uh, a lot of times when people from other countries come into the states, they just lose their culture, they lose their respect towards
Mm-hmm.
other people, and I will just tell him that to keep his culture and just be the best he can be,
Mm-hmm.
and he will get. I mean, he will get whatever he will want it to be in life
Mm-hmm. Okay. So to
by
remain
trying
true.
hard. Yeah.
Okay. By trying
trying
hard, by
hard,
working
yes.
hard. Okay. Okay. Um, what do you like the most about the American culture? So I could think too when they say American culture, they kind of mean it's different, right, in little groups, but
Right.
overall, um, American culture as a whole, or maybe even mainstream middle class, which is usually falls more into white American culture, like the kind of universal. What do you like the most about
Well,
that?
well, I don't know if this has something to do with it, but I think that the opportunity to have the American dream, to own a
Okay.
house, to go to the university,
Sure.
to be a professional in this
Sure.
country. So
Sure.
I think that's what I like about this
Okay.
country. That they give you the opportunity to become whoever you wanna be
Okay.
by trying hard or working hard to get that.
And some people would say the American dream is over, it can't happen anymore.
No,
Would you say that, or
no.
what would you say?
It could still happen as long as you try.
Okay. Okay. And would you say that would you think most of your siblings who also came as immigrants, like has that been the reality for your family?
Yes.
More or
Yes,
less?
more or
Yes.
less, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Um, so what was schooling like for you in the United States? That did got to be hard to come in seventh grade. It's it's a hard time no matter where you are.
Yeah.
But what was schooling like for you here once you came?
No, I think it was great
Hmm.
because I made friends right away.
Hmm.
So it was just like I was in Mexico,
Hmm.
because we spoke the same language. So it was like no difference.
Hmm.
Uh, the only thing that the only difference that I saw is the gangs
Okay.
that were in the school. So
Okay.
it's like you have to stay away from that. And but I mean, schooling was like fun. It was
Yeah.
fun for me.
And you mentioned that's because part of that was being in the bilingual
Uh-huh.
program. Do you remember until how long were you receiving instruction in Spanish?
Uh, through high school.
Through high
Yeah.
school. Okay. And were there lots of other kids who were newcomers?
Yeah.
New
Yeah.
recent immigrants.
Recent immigrants. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. And would you say the school that you were at here in Chicago was overall, right, better or worse than the school you were at in Mexico? I know that's kind of a tricky question, but just overall,
I think it was about the same.
about the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was about the same.
Would you say that there was more gangs, more violence
Here in the States,
here?
yes.
So can you talk a little bit about what that was like being a young man in a new environment where you really could go either way?
Yeah.
Were there a lot of pulls, a lot of people trying to say, "Hey, ven conmigo," you know?
Yeah, you know what? This is funny because I was one of the tallest students in the
Oh, sure,
classroom,
yes.
and suddenly I had all these friends with me, but it was not because they wanted to be my friend. It's because they thought that if they get into a fight, I was gonna defend them.
Really?
Yeah, and I remember one of the kids told me like, you know what? I'm gonna have a fight with the kid over there, so I want you to come with me. So if I'm getting beat up, I want you to, get him. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. He's like, okay, you're not my friend then. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then I found, later on, it's like, okay, so that's why they wanna be my friend because I'm the, biggest, the
biggest guy,
tallest
yeah, yeah.
in the
Yeah.
grade. So he's like, no, I'm not gonna. That's
Yeah.
not me. That's
Yeah,
not me.
no.
Yeah.
And then did they stop being your friend?
Yeah.
Or did
Some
all
of them
some
just
of
like
did?
they went their way,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like gangs gang
Mhm.
members, they will try to be your friend, but it was like because they wanted to get involved with them. So it's
Yeah.
like I always
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
that's not me.
That's not you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember having friends who
Yeah.
weren't able to say no at that point? Or-
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
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 And some of them like they were very smart and they ended up getting involved with the gangs.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Do you
it was,
feel like if you had stayed in Mexico where you were in Mexico, would you have been exposed to as much gang activity or violence, or probably not?